There we go. I do believe we're live, so I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Here we are again on another day, giving ourselves a moment to consciously evolve into the consideration of hope as something that requires maintenance. Hope requires maintenance. We made the comparison between hope and a vehicle. That if a car is something you get in to travel to a place, hope is something you get in to travel to the future, right? And in the same way, one car might bring you comfort, right? Maybe if you know it's reliable, when you're traveling to that place, it feels good, right? If you know your oil is checked and your water is going to be fine and your wheels have pressure in them, then suddenly going on this adventure in this vehicle doesn't generate anxiety in your heart. However, if the vehicle is unmaintained, if the vehicle hasn't had its wheels looked at in forever, hey Joe, if the car didn't get its oil maintained, or etc., etc., then suddenly the adventure, the journey you go on, isn't going to be as good, right? Isn't going to be as fun. And in that same way, hope, and like maybe the vehicle of worry would be the opposite as well. But hope in that way requires maintenance, right? You have to almost readjust every single day the ways in which you remain hopeful. Because you might be hopeful in one way, right? For instance, I was very hopeful about a certain company, right, that got named after Nikola Tesla. That poor dude. And Nikola Tesla is one of my personal, I don't know if I can say heroes, but like someone that I look up to as it relates to their mind, right? Imagining what that mind must have been like. And to believe that even though this company had these positive ambitions for the world, right? Again, talking about the whole renewable energy thing. It put this idea, this understanding in our collective mind that it can be done, that it is in fact possible. And then to see a pulling up of the ladder, if you will, a backtracking on that as a fundamental ambition, it can feel like it takes hope from me, right? And then again, if my hope like that is lost, right? If I lose the fuel that powered my hope vehicle, then I can technically go and look for something else, right? And it seems to me, at the very least, as I've continued to age, the hopes I have, right? And we talked a little bit about this in the previous stream. The perspective I have on the world has changed. And the hopes I have as a result changed alongside it. But when I was a kid, the attachment I had to the world was essentially only to the products, to the purchasables that I had access to, right? And then as I aged, my mind expanded into the realms of the more metaphysical as well, right? Like a stock of a company, for example, is a kind of metaphysical idea, right? Sure, you can have it documented, but it's still a mind thing, right? For you to spend money buying the idea of ownership in a company because there is the potential for that company to increase in value and your currency to increase in value alongside it, right, is a whole different mental bubble than the mental bubble I was in as just a child, right? And then to realize that there is a certain, I don't know if again, I want to say it in these words, but a potential hopelessness. A potential hopelessness that can arise in thinking about the world, where some people never have the expendable income, have the education, have the know-how to consider the other side of that world, right? To not just think about how many things. For instance, for me, right, this is the big thing. For me, I think about vehicles, right? I've been fascinated by vehicles my whole life. My dad would take me to car shows by the age of 5, right? And there was this fascination in me with certain vehicles, right? Not with all of them. Some of them I could almost instinctively feel they're bad, right? Like, this is not something remarkable. And then I would walk through that entire, like, I'm thinking about a specific show. We would walk through the entire show with my mental state being stimulated, but not particularly sharply so. And then stumbling upon a Mustang Shelby, 1969, I think 500, a Shelby 500. Hey Google, Mustang Shelby 500, 1969. So 1967, yeah, it's one of these. Right? And it looked very much like that. Like a lot like that car. Right? With the sticker at the bottom and everything. And I was 5 years old, right? 5, 6 years old. And I saw that vehicle and I was like, holy shit. Whoa. Whoa. What's this? Why is this? Right? And I feel like that moment kind of activated a certain thing in me. Right? And the people that designed that vehicle were taking psychedelics. Absolutely. There was a certain attachment to the nether realm, right? To that hopeful place that extends beyond just our physical world. And I believe that even as a child, I could see that information. And it fascinated me. It fascinates me to this day to look at the way we make vehicles, right? And especially since I've been very pro moving towards electricity, literally since the age of like 14, right? I've been anti-capitalism, anti-burning of fossil fuels. The thing about fossil fuels as well is that there's so much waste as it relates to heat, right? Just by switching our fuel sources, if we could just instantly switch over to electricity for everything, our energy needs would reduce. Did you know that? It's pretty cool for me to find that out recently as well. Because so much of the fossil fuels that we're using right now, be it coal or be it oil or be it gas, not all of that energy is captured as electricity, as actual usable energy. A lot of that energy is lost as heat to the environment. We're literally paying to make our atmosphere warmer, right? Sometimes we're paying 60%, 65% of all of the energy we are burning just to heat up the environment, right? Where with electricity, we reduce that number down to maybe 5%, and it can technically go lower, right? 5% of the energy we're losing to the environment instead of 65% of the energy, right? So in that way, if we can just instantly switch everything over to electricity, we would have our energy needs drop. And I believe that's in part why America is being so bullish on AI right now as well, because they know if they install 500 billion US dollars worth of data centers, there will be a literal need for more energy. And even if they're decarbonizing, the speed at which they're decarbonizing won't be able to keep up with their energy needs. So they'll have to continue burning fossil fuels, which means the people selling fossil fuels will get to, at least for the next 4 years, continue to make money. Not very hopeful. But the part that is hopeful is the fact that this technology is here. It's not even coming, it's here, right? It's already cheaper today to install solar and batteries and have that be your main source of energy. It's already cheaper, right? So in that way, if they want to play capitalist games, they're going to lose eventually, right? And when they do, we all win. Getting to use batteries and the sun instead. So why did China make the decision for China's decision to make DeepSeek open source is a strategic move influenced by key factors. Accelerating AI innovation being the first. By releasing DeepSeek's code to the public, China aims to foster a collaborative environment where developers worldwide can provide and contribute to the enhancement of the AI model. That's the cool thing about open source, of course. This open source approach accelerates innovation, allowing for rapid iteration and improvement of AI technologies. The second point is bypassing technological barriers. Facing restriction on importing advanced AI chips, China has turned to open source AI as a means to innovate without relying on external hardware. This strategy enables the development of competitive AI systems using available resources, effectively circumventing limitations imposed by hardware constraints. So to the friends who don't know, America basically put chip restrictions on China. So they're not allowed to import the best chips from the chip companies. And their own internal foundries are still, I think, 2 orders of magnitude behind in their chip density. So it's going to take them a while to at least internally catch up with the level of tech that's available to the world right now. And on top of that, they're not being allowed to actually buy the tech that's available to the world right now. So by them going open source, they're basically giving themselves a leg up, and in doing so, also giving the world a leg up. And by the time they succeed at the leg upness, right, that model is going to be the one that wins. And every single person that wants to be a part of that winning is going to be helped by contributing, right, by actually becoming a part of that network effect. Then there is the establishment of global AI leadership. Open sourcing DeepSeek positions China as a leader in the global AI community. By contributing to the open source ecosystem, China not only showcases its technological prowess, but it also embeds itself deeper into a global AI collaboration, influencing the direction of AI development on an international scale. Then there's the economic and commercial benefits. Making AI models like DeepSeek open source can stimulate economic growth by lowering entry barriers for startups and enterprises. That's the one I was talking about. Hey, Tommy! Yeah, you were here yesterday. It was nice having you, friend. I saw you did follow me. It's nice seeing you here again. Today we're talking about hope. Gonna study for my exams? Good luck, friend. I hope you get all of that information in your brain and that you remember all of it. You're hearing sounds. The doggos are losing their minds as they do. All right. The last one was lowering the entry barrier for startups and enterprises. This democratization of AI technology encourages a broader range of applications and services, potentially leading to new markets and revenue streams. How many pets do you have? There's Eva, then there's Kobe, then there's Pippi, then there's Yudi, then there's Unit, then there's Minx, and then there's Shelby, and then there's Carlos. So 8 pets. You know, I take pride in saying I didn't pick them, and I take even more pride in taking care of them when I can, when I'm in their vicinity to give them the lovin's I can, but they can be so loud. My poor brain, especially when I'm trying to channel my mind down a certain rabbit hole, if we will. That is the word we have almost romanticized. Can you generate for us a little bit of a rabbit hole to go down? Something for us to consider as it relates to open source and AI. You know, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of suggesting that it's going to be a signal in the whole global narrative when the open source versions of AIs become more and more widely accepted and adopted by individuals who want to run things locally. And then they will be contributing way more to those systems, and we will have a exponential of improvement to the point where even the most advanced systems would want to be a part of the open source model as well. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a thing to think about. What maintenance you talking about? So today's stream topic, Tommy, was about hope and how hope is something we need to maintain. And we made the example, almost a comparison, if you will, between a vehicle that is a car and the vehicle that is hope, where the vehicle of hope takes you in a good way into the future. But the only way for it to take you in a good way to the future is for you to maintain that hope vehicle as you continue into the future. And it's the same with your actual car, right? If you take care of it, if you maintain it, then every time you get in it, there's a sense of confidence, a sense of goodness, that you are in fact going towards this destination you want to go, and you will in fact arrive at your destination because your vehicle is in working order, right? And hope, I believe, or at least we're making that comparison, is that energy to us in mind, right? It's a vehicle to get us to the good future, right? It's a direction we're trying to head within. Imagine a world where the most advanced artificial intelligence isn't confined with the walls of tech giants, in the walls of tech giants, but is accessible to anyone with a computer and an idea. Yes, I'm imagining. This is the promise of open source AI, a collaborative approach where AI models are developed transparently and shared freely. Let's delve into how this paradigm shift could reshape our technological landscape. Democratization of AI development. Open source AI lowers the barriers to entry, enabling startups, researchers, hobbyists, I would probably be the hobbyist amongst those, to contribute to and benefit from cutting-edge technologies. For instance, platforms like Hugging Face have surpassed 1 million AI model listings, highlighting the vibrant community of contributors advancing AI capabilities. There is potential for innovation through collaboration. When AI models are open source, developers worldwide can iterate upon them, leading to rapid and diverse advancements. This collective effort fosters a culture of continuous improvement where innovations build upon each other, accelerating the overall progress of AI technologies. Hey, Bayaz Vas Shah. I don't think I said your name correctly, but bless you. Mojo is here too. I've got to drive 4 hours today. Now I'm worried about my car. I'm sorry, Mojo. I'm sorry. Your car is going to be fine. Another thing to say, right? And maybe this is something I should say, because this is something I've been thinking about, is that cars generally are pretty reliable, right? I've seen beaters on the road, right? Cars literally from the 1980s still driving. I've seen little trucks right? The cheapest truck you can buy, like a little worker truck. It basically, it looks like it's being held together by hopes and dreams, and it still drives, right? So in that way, I believe hope is the same. That even if there's only like a little smidgen of hope, even if there's only hope for the next meal, that's enough to get you to where you're going. All right? That's how powerful, that's how reliable that vehicle is too. No worries because I don't have a car, but you do have hopes and dreams. All right? I don't have a car either, Tommy. I mostly have hopes and dreams, bro, and I need to maintain them day by day. Day by day, re-strengthening my hopes and dreams. Exponential innovation, enhancing transparency and trust. Yeah, that's the next one. Open source models allow anyone to inspect and understand the underlying algorithms, promoting transparency. This openness can lead to more robust and secure AI systems, as a global community can identify and address vulnerabilities more effectively than isolated teams. Yeah. More eyes in the code means less mistakes get to squiggle their way outside of it. What festival you were talking about tomorrow? Yesterday, I talked about a festival that's happening at the end of this month. It's called the Conclave. So if you had to go and search online, all right, we can go the Conclave. And then right up top, it seems, there's theconclave.com. And upon entering there, there's this brand, right? And then they have an open air festival. And you click on open air festival, and that was the previous one. All right? And all of the visuals that's happening behind them, I made for them. And we're doing the same, right? Here's the tickets for the new upcoming festival. And I'm doing pyramid themed. So yeah. Yeah, see. I wonder if their tickets are sold out. Okay, no, not just yet. But there we go. That's the festival. You did the design? Yep. I'm doing it again. They give me a theme, and then I build them all of the media to go alongside that theme. My company's slogan is making visions visuals. You give me your vision, I make it visuals. I have my exams going on till 18th of March. Can't come there. No. I guess. I know you're making like $4,000 a month taking photos, and that is technically enough money to travel to South Africa and come to a festival, but it would cost you like $4,000 to do that probably, right? It cost you a whole month of your photo taking. Doesn't sound that bad. It's kind of wild. Like if I had to, put that same 1-to-1 ratio, it would take me like 4 festivals worth of work to do the same. Purchasing power. How about that? Economic and competitive dynamics. Yes, of course. The rise of open source AI. I have enough savings. I don't care about money. It's true. But my exams, man, I hear you. In time, right? There will be more festivals. I don't know if there's going to be another one this year. There might not be. There might only be one festival a year at this point, right? So in that way, I have like this one gig, and I'm gonna be the one making the media next year as well. Manifesting harder, right? I believe that. Study economics. Okay, good. You can help me in the future too, bro. I'm gonna need all the help I can get. Bless you, Tommy. Thank you for joining us, sharing a moment. I'm sending you all the smarts for your studies. And the last one, I don't think I've read this one. Have I? To maintain a competitive edge? I might have, but I need to read it again, I feel. The rise of open source AI challenges traditional business models. It does, right? Because I started a business that would have normally required me to have a lot more than I do to do what it is I'm doing for my clients, right? And if it wasn't for AI, then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing for my clients right now. Literally, right? So in that way, it changes. It challenges traditional business models. Companies can no longer rely on solely proprietary technologies to maintain a competitive edge. Instead, they must innovate continuously and offer unique value propositions, leading to a more dynamic and competitive market landscape. Ethical and inclusive AI development. A collaborative approach to AI development encourages diverse perspectives, which is crucial for creating fair and unbiased AI systems. By involving a broad spectrum of contributors, open source AI can help address societal biases and ensure the AI technologies serve a wide range of communities equitably. A thought to ponder. As open source AI continues to gain momentum, consider how this movement might influence the balance of technological power. Could widespread access to advanced AI models lead to a more equitable distribution of technological benefits? Or might it introduce new challenges in ensuring responsibility and ethical use? Reflecting on these questions can help us navigate the evolving landscape of AI with a thoughtful and informed perspective. The ability to build your own models is the thing for me, right? The idea I have for AI is very personal, right? And I think that's going to be, again, the value, at least in my mind, of open source models, right? That every single person is going to get to do what they want to do for themselves using this technology, right? In the same way as a vehicle, since we're on the vehicle analogy, right? If you buy yourself a car, some person, for instance, let's use the example of Popcho, right? Popcho gave his old car to Christian and got himself a new car. And that old car that he gave to Christian only had something like 20,000 miles on it. And he's had that car for something like 9 years. So Popcho is not the kind of person that drives his car for thousands and thousands of miles, right? That's not his use case. But another person can buy that exact same car, knowing the fuel mileage, knowing that they can afford that car, and they will drive thousands and thousands of miles, right? And then X amount of time passes, and it's the exact same car, and it's the exact same purchasing power that allowed them to purchase that car. But because they have different needs, they have different, attachments to the world, the way they ended up using that exact same thing is vastly different. And what it meant to their lives ended up being vastly different in hindsight. And the value it could have created could have been exponentially different too. And I think that's what at least in my mind, ideal ways of looking at these tools, of maintaining hope that these tools won't just be another tool of oppression, another tool of taking away our power, another tool of making us human beings redundant or demoralizing our wills, our will to live, making us feel stupid in comparison, right? And it might even make us a little bit more stupid in certain ways, right? If I had to compare myself to the average person when it comes to arithmetic, hey Gavity, you, love you, bro, right? Their ability to do math in their brain, I probably would be not as far, as it relates to my abilities as that person would be. But again, with the technology I have, I don't need to, right? And my mind is of this conviction, we can say, this hope that the reason we are almost growing out of things the way we are is because there is change happening, right? It's like the wisdom teeth thing. I have one wisdom tooth right here, right? None here, but one here. And it's not where it's supposed to be. And it is this like legacy tech that is still a part of my physical body, right? Literally. Like it has switched off the genes for 3 of them, but there was still this one gene activated, and then it made a tooth there. That's wild. That's so bonkers, right? And again, it's this conscious evolution thing. It's like now, as a species, we're aware of that. If I was a person 500 years ago, the fact that I only have one tooth there, and the fact that it was growing in a way it wasn't supposed to, and the discomfort it caused me, is something I wouldn't have been able to fathom or understand if I didn't have the same access to information I do right now, right? And again, am I more intelligent than that version of me? I would like to think so. Was that version of me better at spatial memory? Probably. Was that version of me better at... I want to say social cohesion. I don't know. And what I mean by that is his ability to relate to another person. What do you think, Abrigo? You think we're becoming progressively less intelligent? To the friends who haven't seen it, the whole idiocracy fractal. Is that going to happen to us? Do I overestimate how much these tools will help? The way I see it is that you won't be able to not be helped by them. Right? It's going to be like one of those things where, whether you like it or not, so scoffed, whether you like it or not, the world's becoming a better place. And some people won't like it. How about that for a trip? I'm actively maintaining hope. I know that you friends bring hope to me too. I'm gonna show you a flower and read you a poem, and then I'm gonna say goodbye. Here's yesterday's piece. Are you shaking? People are pretty generally unintelligent as things are now. People. Such a broad term, but it's true, unfortunately. If we're speaking in broad terms, people are not very smart. But when it concerns, maybe it's like the whole, that's very pretty. Oh, bro. I'll hide my face. I am the flower. Yes. Creatures. Okay. The poem that went alongside it is called How Lucky We Are. And we were talking about maintaining hope. So this is supposed to add like a little more like maintenance of hopes. Totally. How lucky we are to have been carved from the quiet, lifted from the vast unknowing, placed gently into the miracle of now. To have been given eyes that catch the light, hands that remember warmth, a mind that hums with wonder at the simplest, unfolding of the world. How lucky we are to have found each other among all the spinning stars, to have voices that carry our laughter across time, across space, to have met the ones who make our hearts feel like home again. How lucky we are to wake to mornings that never repeat, to step forward into futures woven with more mystery than we have ever been told to expect, to live in a world where anything at all might happen next. How lucky we are to have known love, even once, even for a breath, to have touched the trembling edge of joy, to have danced in the small moments that turn out to be the big ones. And how lucky we are to be here now, to have breath in our lungs, thoughts in our mind, in this moment, this poem, to remind us that we're existing against all the odds. We're existing against all the odds. Like, that's pretty hopeful to me, Yes, it's pretty hope-inducing. All right. The odds are that you don't exist. Actually. Actually, none of us do. Actually, this thing you think you are doesn't. And yet, here you are. Here both of us is. And then we aren't. But we can be again. I appreciate your friends for joining me, for sharing one of these moments. I love you. And see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.